rights.
Okay, just one final question on that then. So the last Labour government's civil union legislation, I can't remember how you voted on that, but even that, would you support? So that was kind of a half pie measure towards.
I think we all voted for it, yeah.
Okay. Now I'm aware.
But I'm just talking about at a personal level.
Yeah.
I don't consider same-sex marriages or male-female marriages to be an issue of human rights.
Okay. Now, I'm aware we haven't really got a lot of audience participation yet.
They've all gone to sleep.
They've gone to sleep. I'm sorry, but you need to make a bit more noise. We've got James Gleick at the back with the microphone. I'll just see if he's got any questions, or he can go to the audience if there's anything.
I've got a question related to what we've just covered over same-sex marriages and that. A lot of people on the radical left gave you flack about going to the Destiny conference.
Yeah.
A lot of people said, well, you know, these are people who have shown themselves to be highly homophobic, oftentimes racist, oftentimes, you know, some very unsavory ideas. Why did you go to the Destiny party, the Destiny Church conference?
It's kind of like, why would I come to Dunedin? A whole lot of white folks down here, you know, with a history of white folks not being particularly nice to brown folks for the last 150 years. Do you know what I mean? So those are some of the issues. But at the end of the day, when I go to the Destiny Church, I've got heaps of my whānau in the Destiny Church. I copped a lot of flack, not just from the left-wingers, I copped a lot of flack from all my gay relations as well. So why are you going there, Andy? I says, well, stop flacking me, you guys. Why don't you just invite me to something? And so they said, right, you're on. And then they invited me to the opening of the Lola Bar on Ponsonby Road, which was kind of a freaky experience. But I mean, it's all whānau, if you know what I mean. I have whānau in the Anglican Church who are noted for still hanging on to great tracts of Māori land. I have whānau in the Catholic Church. And for those of you who know the Catholic Church, how many Catholics in the room? Okay.
Practicing or?
No, it doesn't matter. Catholics. Of any.
Raised Catholic.
Okay, now, can one of you tell me the name of one Māori Catholic priest? Yeah, and can you name another one? No, seriously, in the whole country. No, Max is dead. Max is dead. Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is, I hang out with the Catholics, and yet for all of their so-called wanting to do their bit for all cultures, the Catholic Church, he's right, there's only one Māori priest in the whole of the Catholic Church. Why would I want to hang out with them? If I was going to hang out with any one particular religion, it would not be Islam, by the way. It would probably be the Ratana faith. Ratana faith, because at least all of their scripture and all of their karakia is always in Māori. So it is a growth of the language as well as the growth of their particular religion. So I don't pick and choose. I mean, I think that's a sad argument, really, to say that you can't go to Destiny, but you can hang out with Anglicans. Okay. You can't go to Destiny, but you can talk to Catholics.
I think Hone's answered that. Sorry, was there?
Just to kind of clarify. So I guess you're kind of saying that being part of a group like Destiny doesn't really preclude someone or people from being able to get involved in activist and radical politics, that you're not going to shut them out of a movement.
You know, some wonderful people in that Destiny Church, eh? Wonderful people. And there's some arseholes in the Destiny Church too. Just like there is in the Mormon Church, in the Catholic Church, in the Anglican Church. But for me, a lot of them happen to be my whānau, the good ones and the bad ones. So, you know, you can't deny whānau. You just can't deny that sort of heritage. So I'm comfortable, actually, going there, just as I was comfortable having the hands laid on me by what Māori call paki, some of those, what do you call them? Apostolic types?
I couldn't say.
You know, the ones who clap a lot and all that stuff?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Now, does anyone else have any questions relating to any of this? We've got Joe Stockman here, who's a politics student and writes for Critic magazine.
Kia ora, Hone. I was just wondering, as a Pākehā New Zealander, it can be sometimes a bit difficult to kind of relate to you. and you're now the head of a party which doesn't have a particular ethnic identity as the Mana Party. It's fairly kind of across the board.
Yep.
I was just kind of wondering, to what extent do you feel that you as a Maori New Zealander and me as a Pakeha New Zealander share an identity?
You know, you and I are lucky to live in the best country in the whole wide world. There's very, very few countries that have clean borders like we do. Hey, we do. We don't have neighbours trying to push in. We have, I'd like to say beautiful weather, but I'm from up north, so yeah, we have beautiful weather. We've got mountains with snow. We've got green lands like you wouldn't believe, and water that other countries would go to war over. We have to try to come up with a way forward that ensures that we maintain our relationship to one another and our relationship to this wonderful land in a way that when your grandchildren and my great-grandchildren meet, that land is still as beautiful as it is now. If we allow that to get lost, then the things that you might want for your grandchildren and the things that I might want will be lost forever.
Does that answer the question?
Not entirely.
Okay, we'll go to another question. We've got Andrew Tate, activist, local activist at the back here with a question.
Kia ora, yeah, Mana Party member too since Sunday.
Oh, gee, cool.
I've got a follow-up question with the Destiny Church one, which is that my problem with Destiny is mainly that like the economic policy that they were selling was to the far right of ACT Party. So you've got Tamaki, who is collecting the dues and peddling like these like things that are discriminating against his own whānau, as you're pointing out, and then like turning around and advocating, if you're wealthy, then you're blessed. Now, this is a bit of a problem, I think, that goes back to then the Māori Party as well, and like the fact that sometimes this idea, oh, well, we're all whānau, but some of the whānau are getting rich off the other whānau.
Some whānau are more equal than others. Yeah, I mean, that's part of life. I mean, whatever iwi you're from, you find that the iwi leadership group within that iwi probably a lot more well off than the rest of the iwi, whatever iwi you might happen to come from. You find also, like here we are in a university environment where I happen to know, and I think those who've done the studies will know, that all of the chancellors of the universities from around the country got together and went to see the Minister of Education and said, stop the wānanga from growing too big too fast, te wānanga o Aotearoa. So it's no point in just making criticism of one little organisation and say have nothing to do with them. It's because the way in which all of the universities put a stop to rongo wetere and te wānanga o Aotearoa for grabbing all of those students because those other universities were too slow in doing it. What they effectively did was crush what was a growing Māori tertiary institution because they couldn't keep up with them. Now, all I'm trying to say is we've got good people and bad people in all of our whānau, and we don't achieve success by ignoring half of them.
Okay, we've got another question up the front here from Albert, a politics student, and then we've got some comment or analysis from Kerry after that.
Cool. It's quite intense asking a question here. Hone, thanks. You mentioned before about the South and with our relationship with Māori, mainly Pakeha dominated. And you sort of maybe hinted at, not a rift, but maybe just, a bit of separation there. Do you think that there's any, leverage for you with the Mana Party or, politically down in the South, with the connection with your party? Do you think there's any, leverage for you or, potential down here, or do you think that's...
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, Mana, the thing about Mana is that, Mana grew out, its beginnings pretty much was an article I wrote in the Sunday Star Times back in January when I criticised Māori Party clinging on to National when National was doing damage, not just to Māori, but to working people right throughout the country. After that, as I travelled around the country talking to people, I was getting Pākehā people come up to me and shaking my hand, and of course I'm standing with this hand back here going like this, thinking, this is not real. But after a while it became clear to me that a lot of Pākehās don't like what John Key's doing to the nation and don't trust Phil Goff to do anything about it. And so they are genuinely looking for somebody who's prepared to stand up and carry that fight. They don't see it in Phil Goff. It is essentially a fight against the super rich. Phil Goff's sort of dicking around in centre ground. And I'll give you an example. He talks about the capital gains tax like he's really going to hurt the rich people. Well, I mean, we're in a recession. There's not a hell of a lot of property development going on at the moment. So there's not a lot of capital gains tax to be taken there, number one. Number two, all of that property development is essentially a commercial enterprise, right? Should have attracted a commercial tax of 28%, but he only put in 15%. He talks about GST like he's saving the poor. GST off what? Fresh fruit and veggies? Poor people, you know, if they get another couple of dollars, they ain't going to go out and spend it on fresh fruit and veggies. They'll buy cheap, easy food. It's just the way. GST off is what he should have done. So what I'm saying is, the position that Mana is taking is that we are in such deep trouble right now that unless we change the very nature of the direction of this country to take it away from economics for profit to economics for people, then we're all in trouble, whether we're Māori, Pākehā, Pacific Island, or anything else in between. So, and that, I think, is the reason why I'm picking up support all around the country, simply because that fight, nobody else seems courageous enough to want to take up. I don't care that it's just me in that field at the moment. I actually think that this beating is going to do so much damage to Labour that they're going to have to do a rethink about where they're sitting in the centre of politics and probably end up coming back to where we are. When a guy said to me in Invercargill when I was down there a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, when he said to me, Mana is where Labour should be, that pretty much says it all.